they're trying to reach some sort of a resolution in Pittsburgh with Antonio Brown and the Steelers. Last Tuesday, out of the blue, he said farewell to Pittsburgh. And then over the weekend, he decided he was going to answer questions on Twitter, Chris. He's been promising a big interview for weeks now. He's allowed both Mike Tomlin and Art Rooney, the coach and the owner, respectively, of the Steelers, to speak their piece and not respond. Now he decides to go to Twitter. I think he's getting very antsy. I think he's getting a little emotional. I think he wants out. The fact that they're not making it clear to him that there's a path out, I think this is ticking toward a potential boom between the Steelers and Antonio Brown.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And it's interesting, too, because, as you watch the whole thing unfold, I think a lot of people, and I don't even know where you stand with this. I haven't even talked to you about this yet. But I think a lot of people think Antonio Brown's got all the power in this situation. And I just had a few conversations in just, casual settings where I just go, I don't know about that. Antonio Brown's got to be careful here. First of all, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the hook for $20 million, or is it $19 million to be exact, of dead money, no matter what, whether they trade him, keep him, sit him on the bench, whatever. So in Pittsburgh's situation here, they're kind of getting screwed over no matter what. They can sit back here and play this as slow as they want. For people to think that they can't drive a hard bargain with teams who might want to trade to get Antonio Brown, they're just incorrect. They can basically sit here and go, we'll wait all day. And we're going to wait till we get the compensation we feel we deserve for an Antonio Brown.
Well, here's where it stands. If they trade him or cut him, they will take a cap charge of $21.1 million, but they won't pay him anything. If he's on the team, his cap number is $22 million, and they will pay him about $13 million, about $15 million actually, for 2019. And the key date is March 17. That's when a $2.5 million payment becomes due. But the Steelers can, and I think that if he keeps pushing them, there's a chance they will eventually say, hey, Antonio, we paid you $19 million to sign 2 years ago. We paid you over $13 million in salary the last 2 years and bonuses. You've got over $33 million in the last 2 years. And we have you under contract for 3 more seasons. And you either play for us or you play for no one. And if you play for us, we expect you to show up on time. And if you don't show up on time, we are going to take advantage of all rights we have under the CBA. Because at some point, Chris, the Steelers need to think about how other players are going to view how this unfolds.
100%, Mike.
If you set a precedent that you can just talk your way out of town, then anybody can talk his way out of town.
Yes, that 100%. You're right. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got to be careful here of future mutiny, really, basically, is what they got to protect against. I mean, right now, the example that's being shown by Antonio Brown is that I can ditch the team and act unprofessional and not answer the calls of the head coach or players on the team or the owner of the team, and then show up and be off the radar all week at practice, then show up on Sunday and expect to play, get told I can't play, and now I'm going to hold a temper tantrum and say I want out of town because I feel disrespected? No, there's a long history and a long line of things that he has done wrong and been unprofessional, whether that's late for meetings or all the other things that we've talked about through the years. And if I am Pittsburgh, I'm going to sit here and go, no, I'm not doing anything with you, Antonio Brown, until we find a team that sends us a first-round pick or something like that, because we're losing a ton of money that we've already invested in you, and we gave you a longer leash than we probably should have to begin with, and now we're stuck in this situation because of that, and we're not going to let you just yell and scream and get your way out of town.
He's banking on the Steelers wanting to turn the page on the drama and the dysfunction. And what he's doing is he's trying to add to it.
Yeah.
He took to Twitter on Saturday and he offered to answer 10 questions. And the first answer was the most telling. He was asked about the source of his conflict with quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, and he said, there's no conflict, just a matter of respect, mutual respect. He has an owner mentality, like he can call out anybody, including coaches. Players know they can't say anything about it, otherwise their meal ticket is gone. It's a dirty game within a game. So, he's talking about the lack of respect that Ben Roethlisberger has for the other players, the fact that he feels like he's an owner and can say what he wants to say. And he's just trying to stir this up, and he's trying to make this conflict between him and Roethlisberger to the point where Roethlisberger says, look, it's him or it's me. I don't want the guy here. And there was an interesting twist that happened on Friday afternoon, Chris. Somebody pointed out to me that Antonio Brown, on his likes and Twitter, where you can click that little heart and you can like a tweet, he had liked a couple of tweets that referred to Roethlisberger's sexual assault allegations from years ago, and there they were, prominent at the top of Antonio Brown's likes. Now, he since has unliked one of them, but the message is clear. He's trying to stir it up as best he can to give the Steelers no choice but to say, we can't have this guy around. It's too much drama. It's too much dysfunction. We're never going to be anywhere close to where we want to be as a team in 2019 if this guy's around, because he's going to make mess after mess after mess, and he's not going to give up. And this is T.O. in 2005 if social media existed in 2005, because this is what Owens would have done to get out of Philadelphia. Instead, all he could do was shirtless driveway sit-ups and be passive-aggressive or aggressive-aggressive in meetings and at the team facility until they finally gave up on him. But now Brown's got this extra weapon in his arsenal that T.O. didn't have, and he's fully and completely using it.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. And again, I know you and I have talked about this. He's got to be careful a little bit, because if he continues to just throw gasoline on this fire with Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to scare other teams and other coaches away if it gets out of hand. That's the first thing he's got to worry about. Second thing is, listen, he can try to alienate his whole relationship with Big Ben or that. I don't think Big Ben cares. That's the other thing. Like, I don't think Big Ben does not seem like the kind of guy, first of all, I don't condone any of Big Ben's actions and how he calls out players. Not cool. Not the way a leader does it. You don't see the Tom Brady's or the Peyton Mannings or the Aaron Rodgers do it quite to that fashion, the way Big Ben did this year. That was wrong. But at the same time, Antonio's got to be a little careful, because Big Ben's just the type of guy that doesn't care if people on the team like him or not. I don't think Big Ben really cares if anybody on the planet likes him, maybe other than his wife and his kids and, his mom and his dad. He's just not that type of guy. I don't know if you've ever been around him, but he just doesn't give you the most warm, cozy feeling in the world. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a coach or whatever it is. But again, I think Antonio Brown is powerless in this situation. Pittsburgh Steelers got to draw a line in the sand. Don't let him dictate how this whole thing goes. And they are on the hook for a lot of money no matter what. So they can sit back and go, here, Antonio, either we get the trade we want, you come back and play for us, or you sit there on the sidelines and you don't do anything, and you collect no money this year at a very pivotal part in your career where you're going to be 31 years old and the slope is definitely declining or going downwards.
And Chris, it's even more aggressive than that. They have paid him $19 million that's spread out over 5 years. He would owe them $11.4 million if he just chooses not to play. Play rather.
Right.
And I don't know that he fully understands that or appreciates that, but that's part of the conversation I think Art Rooney may want to have with him. It was funny, last week the news came out that Art Rooney II going to Florida wants to meet with Brown. Initially, Brown wasn't going to meet with him. Then all of a sudden, Brown is going to meet with him. Look, you can disrespect Ben Roethlisberger all you want. You start disrespecting the guy who signs the checks.
That's right.
You have a huge, huge problem, because then that's when the guy will start doing things against the interests of his team, all for the sake of putting a giant middle finger in your face, because we can't have this as owners of NFL teams, having the players tell us how it's going to be. They've been dealing with Le'Veon Bell the last 2 years, telling them how it's going to be. This is a bad, bad precedent for the Steelers to set. So I think Antonio Brown is getting closer and closer to hearing in no uncertain terms, you got two choices, Antonio. You play for us or you play for no one. If you play for no one, you can start paying us back that $11.4 million. Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Even if we aren't, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah, it seems like it could go that way. It definitely does. I just wonder what the compensation they're looking for that would justify him, justify trading him and getting him out the door. Obviously a first-round pick, I think that would get it done. But are they to the point where, if it's a high second-round pick, something like that, are they gonna flirt with that to just, kind of fold the cards and say we're out of the Antonio Brown business? I wonder what the price will be to finally make the move, or at least have the deep conversation about trading Antonio Brown.
Chris, whatever it is, they're not there yet.
No,
because
they're not.
We know we're in that window where we can find out that there's a deal in place for a player that becomes official on March 13. We found that out last week when Joe Flacco tentatively was traded from the Ravens or the Broncos. So if somebody had given the Steelers enough that they would say yes, it would already be done, even though it can't officially be done until the middle of March.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.